These are some LED inserts that are embedded in the outer tail light of your Lexus. This is an RX 330. This happens to be an 04. And when the brake light goes out, burns out, it's actually a series of LEDs, and that burns out, and the service people will want you to replace the whole assembly, which is very expensive. And actually this part can be replaced. This is the LED, this is what goes out. And mine went out, and we happen to have a junkyard in the area, so I went, and even though the tail lights were broken, the inside still had the LEDs in them. So I pulled one out, and I'm going to try to install it on mine on another day that it's not raining. But this is the LED. This is the unit. This happens to be on the right, and this is on the left. Mine is out on the right, so I got this one. But since I was there and the fixture, the plastic was broken on both of them, I went ahead and took this one because I knew no one would want that other one that was broken anyway. And this is the only part that might be good still. So I went ahead and bought that one too, in case my other brake light goes out. But anyway, to get your LED assembly in and out, you're going to have to remove the whole fixture that it's in. And of course it's going to be three 10mm nuts. You can see other videos and they'll show you how to remove those. I removed mine with a deep socket 10mm, and this is a 1/4-inch drive. They weren't very tight because I guess they don't want them real tight. They don't want to damage or crack things, but they weren't real tight, so it just took a slight loosening, and then I could unscrew it by hand. And you may have to take off your other lights, the wires off to pull the assembly out. You will eventually. And the three that are in there, one of them is, well, the one up top and the bottom, you loosen it by counterclockwise and pull it out. And then this LED, you press the tab and to release the cord, and on this side it was coming from what access I could release the cable. So once you pull the whole fixture out, you're going to have this in the middle. Well, actually the gasket is going to be covering it, and there's 3 studs, holes for the gasket. This is felt. You can pull this off, be gentle with it so you can reuse it. Pull that off, and then you can see the LED assembly. And the key to getting this out of the fixture is this black guard. This kind of guards the circuit board, and is also provides the stud for this connector to rest on. But to get it out of the fixture, you're going to have to remove this to get more room, because you can't get it out. And there may be other ways to do it, but what I found that worked was I needed to remove this first and then remove that. And to remove this part, over here there's a little tab that if you, I've got it pulled up now, but it goes all the way down, that if you pull up this tab here with a screwdriver, see that's the hole that this tab will go into. Then if you lift it up with the screwdriver, you can pull and work it, and you can pull this plug off. And this is what you're trying to get it off of. But that's the hole, and this is the tab that locks it in. So once you have that off, then you'll see a couple of Torx screws that are holding the cover in, and it's a Torx 20, or I only had my screwdriver, this one, with me, and I was able to unscrew it. They weren't that hard with this size screwdriver. And you'll have to remove these two Torx screws. And then if you look at this, the way it's held in is, see this tab here? This is going to go into the fixture. It's got a little tab up front. The other one has one too. That's what holds the top, and then the bottom is going to be held down by these two holes here, these screws here. So this holds the bottom, this locks in the top. So to get this off, you might want to get off whatever side you can get off of easier, and it could be this side or this side. I don't remember which one I did, but they will come off just by lifting it off of the tab locks that it's on. It's got little holes, and it's got the tab here underneath it that's holding. And then on the other side, same thing. Lift it up, and once it releases off these tabs on each side, then it will pull up. Now your little cable connector, there's room in here to slide it out. So this black cover has room for that wire to go in and out. Okay, once that is removed, then you can pull it off. But there's no tab or anything up here. The thing that holds up the top is there's a little lip. See this lip up top? Well, that's going to fit right here on the circuit board, right underneath this tab, right beside this tab. It's going to lock in there. And so when you're putting it back on, you'll see this tab. You're going to put that on first. You're going to put that on. It's going to be, this is R for the right, and this is R, so you know you've got the right one. And you want to put the top in first, and then you can work in your bottom. Okay, once you've got this out, then you can maneuver your circuit board and take it out. And it goes in and out fairly easily. But when you're putting it back in, say you've got your new one, remember this is the starting point. And if you'll notice, if you turn your LED assembly on each side on these bottom tabs, you notice this bottom one has a notch cut out of it on the side. See, it's different from this one. See how this one is solid all the way around? But this one has a little notch. And that's because you're going to be sliding this over the stud that it's going to be fitting on, and you need that space here. And on this side, you might have to lift it up. If you'll notice the same thing over here. Over here, this one is cut out, and this one is solid underneath. So you're going to be turning it to where the notch is out. That's where you're going to be turning it. But we're just talking about the right now. So these are our points. And then also on this black cover, there's also a point where it attaches, not only up here up top, underneath, but also if you turn it over, there's a little notch right here. There's a little opening in here. See that? Well, that's going to fit down on this. See this tab right here? That's where that little black cover, this opening, is going to fit inside here. Before we put this on, we're going to go ahead and lock in our top, and then it's going to be at an angle, and this is where this notch out is going to help you, because once you get in, it's going to be your two tabs are going to be underneath it, and they're going to be sticking a little higher. Well, this one will be able to slip over because its groove is cut out. And then this one, you might have to lift it up just a little bit to get over that tab so that they will fit on. And then we'll put our black cover on. So I'm sorry if I did that in correct order. But yeah, you're going to have to put this in first and slide it. You're going to have your two tabs. You have to slide it over this one to get it in, and then might have to lift this one up to get that one in. And then once that's securely in place, then we can put our cover on. And of course that tab, so we're going to put our top in. We're going to look over to the side, whatever, make sure it's going in this groove. Once that's in place, we're lining up. Then, once this is down on the studs, now we can push our cover back over on these lock tabs on the bottom. It should snap in, and then this one too. So now it's secure, and it's holding this. And then we can put our plug back in, and see, this is the holder, the stud. So we're going to aim, we're going to tuck that underneath it and slide our plug back on and go all the way down until it clicks in. I'm not going to push mine in right now because I don't want to do it too many times and break my tab. But that's what I'm going to do when I install it on my fixture. Once you do that, then you can put your other, you can line it up and either attach the wires while it's still kind of outside of the vehicle, or you may have to do it when it's inside. I don't remember right now, but I'll find out when I work on mine. So, and then put your assembly back in, hook your cables back up, tighten your 10mm nuts back on, and of course I forgot to tell you about, don't forget to put your screws back in, your Torx 20 screws. They're going to go back in here to tighten it down. Make sure you've done that too. So that's it in a nutshell. Maybe I'll try to do a video on actually doing it with the fixture. But if this helps you, along with other people that have given information out to help you, well, this may be all you need. And the reason I knew something about this black cover being the key to getting this thing out was because on the ClubLexusForum, a guy named Brian Henry, he posted some pictures and explained, and he called this black cover thing as important to get it in and out. And he said once he got that out of the way, it was easy to get in and out. So with his information, that was the key to helping me to solve this thing. And it was at the junkyard, so I took my time trying to figure out how to get it in and out easier, so that when I got home I could do it on mine a little quicker. And so this video will help both me and to remember, and maybe it'll help you. Okay, I pulled my right fixture out of the car, and the gasket stayed on the car, so it's not on here. But if it were still on here, you would have to take it off, and be careful that you don't mess it up. Once it's off, this middle stud, this can come out, and that's going to be helpful because it would be in the way. So if you can just pull it out to the side and don't lose it, and now it's out of your way. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and take these two Torx off. And before I take that one off, I'm going to go ahead and slip this tab off that we need to get off, to get our black key off. It's interesting that the factory puts on a little dot of paint on both sides. Interesting. But you're going to have to go underneath here and lift it up. Lift that tab up while you're pulling up. It may be pretty hard. I've already done this, so that's why it's coming off easier, but originally it was hard to lift that tab up and then work this white plug off. Okay, that's out of our way. I'm going to go ahead and take this other Torx Okay, don't lose that. Okay, now we're going to have to remove our black shield cover, and remember there's 2 tabs on the sides, so whichever one you want to take off first, doesn't matter. Once the 2 sides are off, then it'll lift up. And remember, it's coming off of here. It's coming out of here as we're pulling up. When you're putting it back on, remember, you got to slip that down in there before you put your other sides back on. Okay, now we've got the top, the back, the bottom off. I can move my cable out of the way. It's got a little groove here so you can pull your cable in and out. Lift it up, and now it should turn. It should free up from the side. You might have to just turn it a little bit, wiggle it, and then you can get it out. And that's the key, that little thing. Remember, this is the tab that holds the white plug. It's got a little hole here that this fits in. Okay, now we've got that off. Now we can pick this up. It's going to be on there tight. You just kind of try to free up the plastic tabs there and this one. And see, because it's got that notch out of the plastic, it can slide off of this side. This side might have to, you might have to help it come up off the stove. Okay, now it's free. Now I should be able to, I'm going to manipulate the LED assembly inside so that I can clear this side out. So it's going down. Remember, the front of my tab is in here. It's already in, so I've got to kind of pull it out from up top and slide it down. And then wiggle it out. It can be frustrating getting it out. You want to just yank it out, but you just have to patiently try to wiggle it on out. So there it is. And I've noticed that there is moisture in here. Moisture, I don't know if it's the best designed way, but somehow water might be able to get in here. Maybe it's my gaskets. I don't know, but there's moisture can get in here. But anyway, the drainage system of the water, it seemed like, I don't know if it's on this right side, but moisture can get past your little gasket here and get inside here, and that moisture is kind of what I think is making these LEDs assemblies go bad. That's just my opinion. If you've got your new one or a replacement, of course I got some at the junkyard, and all the LEDs didn't work, so just as a side note, they didn't all work, the LED assembly that I got from the junkyard. So I experimented on it, and I tried to solder the joint, reheat them and dab new solder on the points everywhere, and it really didn't make much difference. Actually, when I put 12 volts up to it, and the few that were lighting up, when I just flicked it, some of them would come on. It was amazing how you could just kind of tap the circuit board, and some of them would start lighting up. So I thought, well, okay, maybe they're just not connected well. So I put solder on places they weren't even supposed to have solder. Just trying to find out what's not making a good connection. And it didn't make much difference. It might have, a few of them may have come on, I don't remember. And so what I tried to do was, just for the heck of it, I got a heat gun, and I got everything hot with a heat gun. Maybe if you have a hot air dryer, and I just got everything hot, really hot all the way around, and I hooked my electricity up to it, and believe it or not, most of them came on, and I couldn't believe it. It's like they're not burned out. There's just some kind of connection going on, and you know, kept tapping, and so I reheated some more with just the air gun, and for one moment all of them came on, all my LEDs, and I said, that's it, and I was excited, and yay. But I noticed if it cooled down, when it cooled down and I put power up to it, 9 volt, they didn't all come on again. So I thought, well, I know what I'm going to do, and I messed it up. I got it all hot and everything, and then I took it outside and sprayed WD-40 on all the connections, thinking, well, maybe there's some kind of moisture in there. Maybe the WD-40 will help it or get that moisture out. But when I did that and let it dry out, blew it out, it made it worse. So don't do it. Well, you can try and maybe it'll work for you, but it didn't work for me. By cleaning it and spraying it with WD-40, it didn't do well at all. In fact, it made it worse and back to 1 or so ever. But in an emergency, or if you can't get one of these, I really would suggest you to get a heat gun and just heat everything up and try it. Try all the joints inside and just get everything hot. And if they're dirty, maybe clean them. I don't know what, but you may be able to get some or many of your LEDs back, and it might hold you for a while. I don't know. I don't know if it's long term, but it might be a short-term fix. So I'm just going to show you on this one how it lit up. Either one, I think actually this one is the better, the one I needed to replace. So I went ahead and see, as you can see, I soldered different points on it, trying to make it work, and that wasn't working, but the heat did the best. So anyway, I got a little 9 volt or 12 volt DC, make sure it's DC, and hook up your polarities correctly, because if you don't, LEDs are polarity dependent. So make sure your ground, you're going to hook power up to your ground, and then with your positive side, which this is going to be the one with the green, and then I can show you what came out of the junkyard. See, some of them are lit up. If I were to just keep power on it and flick these, they might come on. Well, do you see some more coming on? It's like most of them came back on, you know, and some of them they're barely lit, so they're not burned out. They're just there's some kind of connection. So you might think, oh, that's easy to fix. Well, go for it, try it, and if you solve it, then write in the comments of how to get it. Now see, look, if that were installed in your light, that would probably pass inspection. But, you know, let it cool down or whatever overnight, and you might not get them all lighting up. So, because it wasn't consistent, I just decided to go ahead and buy a new one. Because I'm not driving the car. My wife is, and I don't want to mess with it. So, one is coming in, but I just wanted to show you this, how to take it out, and then how to put it back in. Okay, once you've got your new one, and also just something to consider is because you could get moisture in your cavity here. Well, you might want to consider putting some of those little desiccant bags that come in shipping packages, and find a place where you can stuff them in there. Stuff one or two in there in different places. Maybe after you've gotten your board in or before, your choice. And I'm thinking about stuffing some in. They're not going to show on the outside, so you don't have to worry about them looking. Oh no, you'll see it. No, you won't see it on the outside, but they'll be tucked in, and it's possible these little desiccant bags might help to keep the moisture from off this LED circuit board. That's just a side note. You can take it or leave it. Okay, now the important part, putting it back on. Okay, make sure you got the correct one. This is R for right, and it may be a little. It's going to be a little tricky, of course, getting it back in. They designed it. It's like it's an amazing puzzle. But here's how I found went in. If you go in at an angle with the circuit board going in first on this right, and then going towards the top. Now remember, this is the tab. Eventually, we're going to have to get into the holder on inside here. There's a slot that this is going to slip in, and that's going to lock the top up. Okay, so here we're going to go in at an angle and get our top in. Let's see, we've got to get past this lip. Okay, we've gotten past that lip. Now I'm going to lift it back up as high as I can. Now I'm going to slide it down, but I've got to, so you can maybe put your finger in here and pull it up while you lift it up and try to work it down. So once you're in, keep your finger up and work it till you can get it in, because you've got to be able to get access where that tab is and aim that tab to the slot on the inside where it goes. Okay, but see, I'm picking it up and helping you lift the top up to guide that pin into the area it's supposed to go. Okay, it's in. You can't see it, but it is in. It's in its slot. So the top is secure. Now I can start working my bottom in. And remember, we got the 2 tabs that's going to go in. And remember, this one has the little open notch, so that one can slide over. And this is the one that they both have to be lifted up a little bit to get over these tabs. I'm calling everything tab. It's amazing. Okay, so I'm sliding. This one's going to slide over with the notch out of it, so I don't have to worry about that one. It's going to slide, but this one, I'm going to have to lift that up a little bit to get over that tab. So lift it up just a little bit, and there it slid. It went over, and then this one slid over, so I don't have to worry about. Well, that one's easier. So now it's over the top. Now I can push it down and push that one down. So now that it's secure, your circuit board is back secure. The top is in the slot, and these 2 are on their studs. And now to put the locking cover key back in. Okay, remember, you've got your little tab up front. It's got a little hook on it. That's going to go underneath the circuit board. And the top of it, I think fits when it looks like it actually fits on top of the other tab. Okay, here's one that's out of it. See how it fits on top of this little plastic thing? So I think if you can, get it on top of here, but if not, but you do have to get it underneath the top of the circuit board so it fits in. But it seems like if you're able to get it on top, so once you get in, you may have to pick it up a little bit to get over this edge, and that will keep it nice and secure. So we've got to slide this in, and it's hard to tell if I've gotten the top on or not, but I can worry about that later. But once I've got this on the top of my circuit board under the lip, now I can start working in the bottom. But remember, the important thing is this has to slide into here. So I'm turning it, and I'm making sure that these are going to go inside. My cable's out of my way, and I'm going to push it, start it on that little tab, make sure it's going in. Okay, now I've got this in. Okay, it's going in. Now I'm going to turn so I can see what I'm doing. And now I'm going to push my 2 tabs back on into place. Okay, they snapped in. I could hear them, and I can feel them tapping in. Now, what I'm going to try to do, now I've got these in, I'm going to try to get that little tab. Well, I'll work on that in a minute. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and secure my bottom because I don't want to lose that. So I'm going to put my 2 screws back in. Turn it off. Okay, then it's time to put this plastic plug in. This is already secure. This is in its spot, correct spot. Yeah, I can go ahead and put this back on. Slide it down till it clicks. Fits in, and that's secure. Don't forget, you've got to put your stud back in. Okay, don't lose it. But it goes back in, and I think it only goes in one way. It has to go in that way. So you're going to need your 3 screws. Then if you And if your gasket came off with it, then you'll have to reattach your gasket. But if it's still on the car, then it's still on the car. So if you decide to try to hook the wires up, this one's not a problem. Inside the car, but it's these two bulbs that are hard to get in and out of, as you well know. But if you're going to try to get it, work them in before you actually get it all the way back into your car, well, that's going to be your call, and that's going to be my call. But I do want to tell you that if you're going to do that, be careful and put protective tape on your car, on the surface, on the outside, all the way around, because you don't want to scratch up your paint if you're trying to manipulate it to work your cable in. So just be careful, and to maybe prevent any scratches from happening is go ahead and line your vehicle up with some tape all the way around it, so that when you're moving, turning, trying to get to your cables, you're not going to also be scratching up the paint. And okay, and then see, as you can tell, this one I've got little water droplets everywhere, and so it's like somehow it's getting in here. But I'm going to put some, now that it's in, I can see all the space I've got. I could slide some of these desiccant bags. I can slide them into areas that is not going to interfere with anything, and they might help to preserve this LED circuit board from getting moisture in it and doing it the same thing again. Of course, this is many years old, and it may be the original, I don't know, but I don't think they're going to catch on fire. I hope they don't catch on fire. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but yeah, you might want to try something to help prevent that moisture from doing havoc on your circuit board again. So okay, there's a few bags in there. I'm not so sure about this one, but we'll see. Okay, there it is. Hope that's helpful. I'm sorry this is such a long video, and you can skim through it to what is helpful and not, but that's what I've got, and this is going to help me to remember, and if it helps you, well, great.